Hello, this is Ray from Bricksmaven, and in this video we're going to be looking at a recent project I did where I built a website for a high-end photographer in somewhere a little bit near the city where I am. And it's actually a rebuild, so meaning that we're actually redoing the site. It's a site I've done in the past. She has this website for like 6 years or something. And we needed to make some changes because the previous website was built in Oxygen, which I will show you soon. But I'm just showing you that this is actually the end result, right? This is the website that we created. And I'm just going through it. So these are the services. And this is the testimonials, obviously. And then we have a presentation of herself. It's just a temporary website that I created before we actually release the full one. So it's a one-pager, it has a booking page, and it also has a thank you page. So it's pretty easy, pretty simple. And I'm going to show you guys the previous site. So I had to go back to the Internet Archive to actually show you because I obviously have overwritten the new site and I need to do some redirection of the old links. Not done that yet, still need to do that. So that's on the to-do list. So we just need a temporary website to be put up whilst we are building the real website. So this was the old website. I did this like 5-6 years ago, right? So as you can see, the imagery is looking pretty good, right? So these are the images. See this stuff here, this is all broken. This was done in Oxygen, by the way, as already mentioned. And you see that even the menu here, this is supposed to be hidden on mobile, but I'm using the old Oxygen, right? So a lot of stuff has broken. Even if I go to like the services pages, I hope it loads. We can still take a look at it. Give it some time to load. It's coming. So look, you can really see stuff is broken. So imagine, or it might fix itself, I don't know. Okay, I have to scroll all the way down. See, his stuff is all broken. So when someone actually visits the site, you see stuff like this, right? This is totally broken. And I think even now it even looks worse than it looked before. But anyways, all this stuff had to go. And yeah, now we have this. So this is the end result, and I'm going to actually just take you guys through the whole process. Okay, let's dive into this. And first of all, you guys know, before I start a project, I always have to make sure that we have copy. So here's the copy, right? I have the hero, the services, testimonials, the about, and the booking section. So I have all the copy, and then I take the copy, then we move to Figma, and then we start the design, the UX, UI process, etc. So diving into, so this would be the first step I do, right? I have to make sure that the website can be found. Obviously, the previous site was found in Google, but now I'm doing reassessing everything again, like the pages, the terms, the keywords we're using, etc. So I made a lot of changes. Some keywords were good. Some keywords were not working as well anymore, so I made some changes to that. And based on that, we have already new copy. So I already have all the copy for the new site. So I basically just need to build that. And before I started the temporary site, I made sure that there's copy because it just makes it easier to build and it matches whatever design I'm making. So the design is actually based on the copy. That's the process I always go through. And here we are in the Figma file. This is what you have on this side. This is actually the let's say it's not a design brief, but it's more like the explanation of the brand, like the colors, the imagery that's going to be used, the kind of typography, as you can see. Okay, it's in Dutch actually. So a lot of explanation here. So once I actually have that, I actually dump it in AI, right? I'm using ChatGPT, by the way. So I dump it in ChatGPT. I ask it to actually, based on the criterias, right? Just give me like a creative briefing for the mood board, right? So once I actually have that, because I've actually discussed with the client, like, hey, what's the new look and feel that we're going the new look and feel that we want, right? So we describe that, plug it into ChatGPT. I already had an idea how it's supposed to look like, right? So based on that, because I have to make use of AI, I could have obviously gone and looked for example sites. We had example sites, I didn't add them here, and obviously built out the mood board or set the style tile. But now I can actually ask ChatGPT to build a mood board for me based on the design brief or the style or the brand style, right? So I went ahead and did that, and I got some examples that you can see here. So these were looking pretty good. Well, the results, right? So I have a few directions I could go to. So I just showed this to the client, right? And she loved them too. So based on these directions, I could basically pick one. They basically look the same in somewhat just different typography, right? But obviously the dark colors, the gold brown, the grays, the black and the white, right? And the design elements that are in it, right? So stuff like this I'm going to be using in my design to get the overall look and feel as we see here. Obviously I'm not going to design exactly what I see here, but it has to look somewhat in line with this mood board. So this is the look that we're going for. So whenever you are building your own design or working with a client, you should have some kind of direction. That's why I don't advocate for like directly building in the builder. Maybe unless you're building for yourself, right? You can do that if you already know what you want. But if you're building for someone else, you need to have some kind of visual language that they can see, you can see, and you can agree on. And based on that, you move forward. So now that I have a visual language, I can actually move on with confidence, knowing that this is the look and feel that we're going for. So anything I make that does not look like this, we can discard it. So obviously in the end, you would have to just pick one, but basically they're all based on the same mood board, just slightly different variations. So I just plug them all together, right? And I'm like, okay, this is the look that I'm going for. So whatever I make should look like this. So, and if I make this, the client will be happy, right? So that's basically just all I need to do. Okay, so once this is done, we move on to the wireframe, right? So I just look at the copy and just choose, hey, what sections or what patterns will fit the copy, right? So based on that, I created 3 versions. I'm already seeing something crazy. Oh, what was that? Some kind of glitch. I'm seeing some glitches here and there. Okay, that is weird. Okay. Maybe it didn't load correctly. But anyways, obviously when I start working on the design file, I tweak all the tokens. So you can do that through variables. So if you own the Alpha Figma UI kit, you can come in here, you can change your spacing, you can change the colors, right? You can change your fonts. I change the fonts, change all the fonts of the heading, change all the fonts of the body. You can, yeah, whatever. You can change also have like contextual tokens, right? So background colors you can change, typography you can change. And by tweaking that, you can make it look like the brand's look and feel, right? So once you change that, to make the changes all across the design system, so everything is ready to go, you would have to also change your buttons, right? Look, the same button that was on the mood board, I applied it already, right? So we have that in our design. And I just basically lay out the structure that I want, right? I create a few more examples because I don't usually just work off one design, because I have like maybe different ideas of things I want to try out. So I just set them here, and it's pretty easy to do. Obviously this is an overview, so I'm not gonna like go through how I did this, but it's like I said, it's pretty straightforward and easy to do. Like, let's say I have this pattern here, right? So if I want to swap this or try another different pattern, I just choose from the side, right? Look, I can change these here, right? Just need to remember what I had before. Okay, this one. So you might be thinking, okay, how does this even work? Just to show you real quick. So this is the hero. These are all hero patterns, right? And as you see on the side, they're all being displayed here. So I have quite a lot. I have like 103. And these are the categories. So I can switch between different categories and just drag in the pattern that I need. And if I just go to hero real quick on the side, and then going to the hero, you can actually see how many patterns are available. So this much is available to me just for the hero section alone, right? So I can implement all these different patterns. I can try different kinds of designs to bring forward whatever vision I have. Obviously, this process, if you're like struggling, like, hey, I don't know what my website should look like. I mean, when I'm speaking about structure, you can always start on paper. That's what I also do, right? So I sketch out. So based on the copy, I just sketch out some kind of flow that I would like to see. And then being that I designed this whole pattern library, I know what I have or what I can use. Or if I don't have it, I can create something new, right? So I have a lot of choice, as you can see, right? So whatever I swap here, I will be able to see, and it's all based on all the available patterns I have, and I have quite a lot. So we're almost, at this point, we're almost hitting 1,000. So it's pretty much, right, spread across hero, features, blogs, blog patterns, headers, newsletters, a lot of stuff, right? So there's a lot of choice and a lot of different layouts I could make, right? So that's what this process is. This UX process actually to just see how the user will flow through the site, what happens when they click a call to action, right? What's the next page, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so once this is done, obviously in this process I did not add a booking page and I didn't add a thank you page. I just thought, hey, I'll build those because those are pretty straightforward. Could do some extra exploration on it, but obviously I didn't do that. So let's move on. So in this next section, we're going to look at the final UI design, right? But before I get to the final UI design, obviously I need to create based on the wireframe, right? I then start creating designs. So let me show you guys what I came up with. So based on the mood board, I came up with the first one I made. I'm just going to scroll down to it so you can see it. Made changes here and here. And if you guys are familiar with this certain pattern, it's the intersection is actually sticky, right? So once you scroll down, the intersection stays in the screen, right? So it's actually set to these cards will be on top of it as we scroll down. So we'll keep on seeing the intersection as we go down. That's how this section works. Pretty neat section. And my idea was that once you hover over the cards, the title, right here, you can see the title, and the text will just scroll up, and then the prices and the booking call to action will be exposed. So that was the idea here. And we scroll all the way down. We have the testimonial. As you can see in the final design, we went for this section, for this pattern here. And then we have the about us. And we have another testimonial section here and a call to action here, as you can see, and a footer. So, as I said, I made two designs. There's a different hero section. All the copies just basically the same, just a different structure, different setup, right? So this will be the second design. And then this portfolio section that I also added. And here I'll just, on this card, once you hover over it, you just see the call to actions and the image. You get like an overlay, a darker overlay. That's basically it. Here we have this another a different testimonial pattern that I added here. And we have the about us section and the call to action here. These sections are all sticky, so once you scroll, they'll all overlap one another. That's how this is set up, and a simple footer. And I set this up, sent it to the client. She really liked it, and she decided that there were some she wanted to create. She said, okay, let's create one design where we actually take some sections from like this. So once I show you the final design, you see that this is the hero section, right? And then she wanted this service section. So I had to take this here and put it on this side. And I had to keep this testimonial, and I had to swap the about with this one. And she went for this CTA. So we actually, based on these two designs, created a whole new design. And this is the final design that you see here. Let me just remove these markers if I can. Did I place it under? Yes, I placed it under group. Let me just turn them off. So as you can see, this is the final design. This one was totally created based on, so you see this design here. So that's why I also tell people, the patterns that you choose, you don't necessarily need to stick with them, right? So if you know obviously how to code, design, or whatever, sorry, to design first, obviously, and if you know how to code or tweak an existing pattern, you can do something like this. So as you can see in the wireframes, I'm going back, this pattern was turned into this, right? So there is obviously some little bit of work involved, and the idea here was that I'll just have like a carousel with her works, right? Her works that she wants to showcase. They can just be scrolling. People can see them. It's all temporary, right? So once we actually finish building the final site, obviously this will be hooked up to a custom post type, and you can easily manage it. We also have like a specific case story or portfolio page where you can just filter out the different categories of services in this case, and then you can see all her work. So that's the idea behind this. Yeah, okay, so let me continue. And then we have the service, as I said before, and we have the testimonials, about, and we added this footer at the end. So basically this is the end of it. And now, like I said, I created a booking page. So once you actually click on, book a session, you'll be forwarded to this page where you can actually see the form, the booking form. There's also a FAQ on the side, so you can click and see some questions before you book, place a booking, and once you're done, you'll be redirected to the thank you page and then sent back to the home page. So it's pretty simple, this temporary page. Obviously in the new site there's some elements we'll be keeping, so these two pages will be keeping definitely, because the form I made, I'll be using it, and the page, the way that's set up is actually the way that's going to be. As for the home page, we might use some patterns here, or we might design new ones, obviously, because the structure of the home page is totally different than the temporary website. But for sure, I will be using the service. I'll be using this pattern, obviously, and I think also the hero and the testimonial about. So there's a lot of stuff will come back, but there's some other sections that need to be added to the final home page. So once this thing is actually done, I hope to shoot another video so that we can actually compare, look at the whole thing again. But as for now, this was the design that was accepted. So once this was accepted, obviously now she has seen the end. This is basically the end result, right? This is how it's going to look like. No changes are going to be made, obviously, and obviously, of course, we can still make some changes, but let's say for 99, I will say 98% were already there. We just literally need to build it and make sure it works and functions the way that we see in the design. So these markers that I just removed, before I then move further, I mark the design. What is a marker? This marker is basically just for my developer workflow, just to showcasing the elements that need to be components, the pages that need to be pages, the templates that need to be templates, and the patterns that need to be patterns. So I just mark them, right? So as you can see on the side here, we have pattern, right? So I know once I'm in Bricks, I'll be setting the template tag here to pattern. So this will be a pattern, this will be a pattern, right? So just go into it. So this will all be patterns. So all these patterns I can reference through the remote library, right? So this is a pattern, but it's also a component, right? Because the footer, same for the head, same for the header. The header is also a component, right? And here we see I added component. So this is like this social component here with the images and stars. This will be a component. And the CTA combo button here will also be a component. And what else? This card will be a component. Thus I just go through it, right? This will also be a card, will be a component, and that's basically it for this page. And here, this whole page, because it's a single page, this will be a pattern. So I can always, I could reuse this if I wanted. Could also, I didn't want to turn it to a component, just a pattern. This element here is a component, and this whole form is a component too. Turn this into a component so I can make easy changes. I could also place it on different pages if I wanted to. Like I can place this on a service page, although I would like the service page to be forwarded to a booking page, but I still need to think about how I want that flow to be. They could book from a service page, which will actually just be super easy. They don't need to go to a separate page. So that could also be a possibility. And I can also have like a general booking page, right? So yeah, still have to see what I'm going to do there. And then the last one will just be a pattern. And as you can see on top, I have it designated as a page. Scroll down, page, right? See, this is a page, and this is a page. Once I have like the full design with template pages, like you know, like a service single page where we actually display the service, that would be like a template. So I just tag that for myself, and I have it as a reference. And I think that's also a good tool to have, like if you're working with a developer, like communicating, like, okay, what's a component, what's a page. And so that's why I actually created this. And you can you can find this is the alpha Figma UI kit. And yeah, I find it very valuable tool to have. Okay, so now we're done. This is totally done. This is totally finished. So what's the next step now? The next step is now to pull this all the assets need to be saved, right? You have to save the images, save the logos, save the whatever element. If we use any specific shapes, whatever, we save them. You know, maybe icons, social media icons, save everything, and then we move to Bricks. And moving to Bricks, I will have to basically just show you guys. I'm just going to go to the end result. So here, this is the end result. Totally build the whole thing, right? There you have it, scrolling. Obviously it stops once you hover over it. And this is the end result, right? Here you can see it. Built everything according to the design. This turned out a little bit different because let me compare the design. I had like, see, 1, 2, 3, maybe 3. I had some issues displaying the testimonial because the amount of text was quite a lot. So I said, hey, if I just display 2, it would be okay, because 3 would be really cramped. The cards would be like very high. So now it's more in the you know, it's more in the width, right? So this was okay. Yeah, this was very easy to build. Why? Obviously, I have, if you notice, the patterns were already created, right? So I just basically brought them in. The section that took the most was actually this section, just basically because I had to add like the animations, the overlay, right? That. And with long, I don't mean long. I mean like, it's like, this is like a 20 minutes thing to do, right? This doesn't take long. So I built this pretty quick. I would say the whole site, including the booking, and I recreated the form. Took me like maybe 5 hours to do. So like in this case, wait, if you do, yeah, check the services, scrolls down. If you go to book a session, you then get redirected to the page, like I said, the booking page. So this is the booking page, and you can fill in your, you know, put in your stuff, you know, choose whatever kind of photography you want, you know, extra, whatever you put in, it updates. This took me a little bit while to set up the conditional logic, and obviously adding all the services in it, because she has quite some services with like different options. So I think this will really help her business and for people to better book a service, right? This is more, I think this is much better than what I actually created before. So you just choose the date, you write some stuff here, you accept the terms, whatever, click and you send it. And once you send it, you will land on the thank you page. So I'm not going to send it because due to like data that's being collected, so I don't want to do that. And you also have, like I said, FAQ. So you can check out all this data, whatever question they have. So this is a good thing to have too, right? Next to the, while someone wants to book, they might have some questions, and a lot of questions get answered here. And then you can just send this off. So pretty happy. Client is pretty happy with the result. Let me just go back. Oh, by the way, let me show you one more thing. The menu. Check out the menu on mobile, right? So it slides out. So we have a cool menu here, right? Obviously this just leads, it just scrolls down. I also ran into, this menu is also available if you have the Bricksmaven license. But I run into an issue here where if you, normally the buttons, the links that we're using were redirecting to a different page, but these links were redirecting on the same page. And I ran into an issue with the JavaScript, you know, closing this menu. We ended up being able to fix it. So it all works now. And the way that I could fix this is by actually adding like absolute links instead of just the slash, you know, hashtag, etc. So I got this fixed. So it works now. And yeah, like I said, I'm happy with the result. Now I actually have, I'll actually have to show you guys. Okay, so I just had to pause the video there and then just move into Bricks. I want to show you guys the remote template. So these are all the templates I have, right? It's a small site, but we have already templates that are ready and stuff that I can drag in and reuse, right? I have my header for the booking page, and also for the same header for the thank you page. Yeah, that's how I'm building up the site. I have reusable stuff I can bring in and use on other pages if necessary. So that's actually the last thing I wanted to show you guys. So go back to the design, finish off here. So the last thing, or let's say the next step, what's the next step? I need to build out all the pages. You know, she has 7 services, so I need to build 7 services pages. Obviously I need to build one, but I need to actually build out the pages because I need to add the images. So we need to decide on what images. So that's just going to be some extra work there. And build out the about page. It's not really the largest site. Some more things that we're going to be doing is actually looking at building out service area pages, right, or location pages to further boost her findability, if I can use that word. And furthermore, we're also going to be working on like promotions. So I'll be running like some meta ads, Instagram ads, etc. Just to get her more services, more deals. So we'll be doing that too. And last but not least, I added some smart tools. So let me show you guys what you can actually do. Maybe something that you're using yourself. I know this goes actually outside of the scope of what I'm actually trying to show you here. But I found this tool. It's called Microsoft Clarity. It's free. Maybe something that you can also use on your client website. So basically what it does is like actually records the sessions that people have on your page, right? So it shows you actually how far they come. So even if you make a design, you can actually see if your design is performing the way that you want it to perform. So this is fairly new, so there are not a lot of people that have been on the site, but we can basically look at like, you know, let me see if, what's today's date? Today is the 14th. So this only, so this seems to be someone else. So I can click on it and I can actually see what they did on the site, you see? So you see the person clicked further. Now the person is looking at the services. And this actually helps you to see if there are any like bottlenecks. Maybe you see some kind of error on the person's screen, you know, that say, oh, maybe I can fix that. So this just helps me further optimize the site. Okay, so the person clicked on prices. So once you actually click on prices, it opens up a new tab, because the price are now temporarily being shown through a PDF. So that's how you can look at the prices. So this person is looking at beauty photography. And actually this would be cool, right? If you're thinking like, if you have like your marketing cap on, like if someone visits a specific page, the person can be retargeted because the person shows interest, right? So that's something that you could do to further boost the conversions or get the person back to actually book a service, right? So that's just something I wanted to show you. Let me just see what this person does. This person actually come back, because this person might be looking at the prices at this point. And we'll just move my head away. And I don't think the person just looks at the prices. Okay, so that was it. So there are a lot of videos I can watch, obviously, but people are visiting the site, obviously, and they're looking at the prices, etc., etc. So I have a lot of work to do. Once the main site is done, I'll be doing a lot of redirects and stuff, and make sure that everything works. Check out all the links that are open that need to be redirected to the correct pages. So I hope you guys learned a lot from this video. This will be just the closing right now. Like I said, the next step is to build out the whole site. Hope you guys love this video, and let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you like this kind of style of video. Yeah, I just want to know your thoughts. Like, comment, and share this video with others too if you found it valuable. I know people are hyped with AI content these days, and those videos are getting a lot of views, obviously, but maybe you're still interested in just learning, you know, the web design process, and don't want AI to just prompt everything for you. Like, hey, I mean, I also use AI, so it is what it is. But actually, having the skills, and you know, doing the work is still important, right? So if you like this kind of videos, I would gladly make more for you guys. And I forgot about one more thing. I'm actually running a promotion on the site. So if you go to bricksmaven.com, you see that I'm running a promotion, 40% off on all the products. So if that interests you, if you want to have the Figma UI kit, if you want to have these patterns that you've not yet jumped in, then this is a good opportunity to do so. With that being said, I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.